Sicko Nation, we have an injury report because we always have an injury report. We have Sixers fans talking about a specific player who is no longer in the NBA because they will never stop talking about him and wishing that he was back on the Philadelphia 76ers. We got to talk about who that is and how it's ridiculous. And I also want to talk about a culture change that is happening in Philly and when that's actually going to happen. And at the end of this video, I have a player that I am willing to trade that I wasn't willing to trade last season. Let's talk about it.
Sixers, why won't you just lose and put me out of my misery? Why do you gotta keep doing this to me, bro? Nobody else should touch the ball right here. He shoots it from the logo. Oh, we're going overtime! Tyrese Maxey is a god amongst men!
Running Back Nation, what is good? Sixers sickos! What is good? Thank you for being here. All my sickos, hit the like button one time. Give me 1,000 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. We talk about Sixers all day, every day. It's actually a sick, disgusting, ridiculous obsession, but it is what it is. We were born into this. We didn't choose this life. The Sixers chose us. There's some things we got to talk about, man. And here's the first thing. All right? I didn't put my window capture on the screen. Hold on. Producer, you're fired. Get me a new producer in here. All right. Here's the first thing I want to get out the way, okay? Ben Simmons seems to like the idea of returning to Philadelphia. Now, my first question is, how long are you guys going to do this? Ben Simmons is going to be out of the NBA for 20 years. And you're going to be at the end of a bar somewhere. You're going to be 57 years old. No, you're going to be 77 years old. You're going to be hammered at the end of a bar wearing a Ben Simmons jersey, and people are going to be talking about, you know, the new era of the Sixers. It's not even going to be Maxey or Edgecombe. It's going to be a totally new era. It's going to be in the year 2051. I don't know if the math added up there. And you're going to be at the end of the bar like, hey, I heard you talking about Sixers down there. Hey, come here. What about Ben Simmons? Yeah, what about Ben Simmons, man? He's a great defender. Yeah, he's great. I know he never shot the ball, and I know he was always a fucking loser and has the mentality of a toddler. But what about Ben Simmons, man? Bartender, cut this guy off, bro. Cut this guy off. Anyway, somebody commented on a Ben Simmons post on Instagram and said, you'd be a great fit on this current Philly team. Maxey, Edgecombe, Paul George, Ben, and Joel Embiid. And Ben Simmons liked the comment. So that's getting some kind of attention on the internet today. I guess we got a slow news day. First of all, no! All right? Ben Simmons is not a power forward, bro. When did that start? He has 0 moves. He doesn't have any post moves at all. He doesn't have any mid-range moves. He doesn't obviously have a three-point shot. He has no basketball skills whatsoever. Why would he play power forward? He's not a rebounder. He's not an interior defender. Ben Simmons is 6'11", and I've never seen him block a shot in the NBA. Please stop with the Ben Simmons shit. It's ridiculous. You Ben Simmons stans, you need to go to therapy. You have a disgusting obsession with another grown man. Seriously, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, my guy, Justin Moreno. Sixer Country on Instagram and Twitter. Young, inspiring, aspiring 76ers writer. He just doesn't get it because he's young. And I'm sorry, Justin, I'm not trying, or Jacob, I'm not trying to, you're not Justin, you're Jacob, same thing. I'm not trying to roast you, but you don't get it because you're young and you haven't lived this life long enough to understand how ridiculous this is. If teams could offer 10-day contracts before January 5th, I'd entertain the Sixers doing so with Ben Simmons. Stop it. Stop it. Philly, come on. Jacob, you've been in the arena, bro. You go to Sixers games, you've been in the arena. The fans are booing Paul George right now as he gets introduced. And he didn't do anything actually wrong. He's just soft. The city of Philly hates Ben Simmons. You don't... Come on, bro. Stop it. Anyway, I don't want this to be a Ben Simmons rant for 20 minutes. That's all I wanted to say. It's ridiculous. Knock it off. You Ben Simmons obsessed psychopaths need to go to therapy. Now, let's get to the injury report. And then I want to talk about a player that is changing the 76ers culture, two players that are changing the 76ers culture, and a player that I would entertain trading who I didn't want to trade last year. Now, first of all, this is not news. Joel Embiid will miss his 9th consecutive game for the Sixers on Friday night. Wake me up when Joel Embiid plays, all right? Joel Embiid missing games is no longer news. And realistically, I think we are signing up for tanking with 2 max contracts on the roster until those contracts are over. The Sixers are in hell. They're in purgatory. They're the Washington Wizards in disguise. You know, the Washington Wizards or the Charlotte Hornets or the Sacramento Kings or any of those just terrible franchises, right? They're not the Kings kind of tried to put makeup on a pig, okay? But the Hornets and the Wizards, they're not trying to put makeup on a pig, all right? The Portland Trail Blazers, even though they're building a nice young team over there, they're not trying to put makeup on a pig. They're pigs in the pen rolling around in their own shit and eating scraps, okay? The 76ers are also in that pen right now. They're in there. But there's somebody dressed them up. Somebody dressed them up like a show pig, you know? No, you know what? Somebody dressed them up like a racehorse, right? It's a pig with like a racehorse costume on, but they're in the pen with the pigs. Everybody knows it. I don't know if that was a good analogy or not, but the Sixers are in the same situation as those teams. It's just disguised a little bit, but the disguise isn't working anymore. Here's a little meme that I made. I actually believe that Joel Embiid was going to be healthy this season. I can't say that on YouTube, but you can read it. Now let's get to the injury report. Sixers injury report tomorrow versus Nets. Joel Embiid out, right knee injury management. Paul George questionable right ankle sprain. I don't know, right knee, right ankle, left pinky. Who cares? Pussy sprain. Okay, that's what Paul George has. He hurt his vagina. VJ Edgecombe out left calf. Kelly Oubre out left knee. Trendon Watford out left adductor. Adem Bona right ankle sprain. So VJ Edgecombe is out again with the left calf. Kelly Oubre, who knows when he's coming back with that knee injury. Trendon Watford pulled his damn groin really hard, had to be helped off the floor. Who knows when he's coming back. Adem Bona is probable. That's nice for like energy and athleticism, but and weak side blocks, but Adem Bona can't really play interior defense or rebound any better than the small ball lineup that the 76ers play. So I don't know if that really helps them in the department that they are missing the most. Here's the one I want to focus on. Paul George, questionable right ankle sprain. Now, last game, Paul George was probable. All right? And like 2 hours before the game, he was downgraded to out somehow. Okay? Now he's listed as questionable. If he doesn't play in this game, what are we doing? You really signed a guy who's just going to sit out and collect a paycheck. It is embarrassing. This Paul George situation for the 76ers is embarrassing. Daryl Morey should be embarrassed. Nick Nurse should be embarrassed for just sitting around and letting this happen. You think Greg Popovich would sit around and let this kind of shit happen? No. You think Eric Spoelstra would sit around and let this kind of shit happen? No. They would be very outspoken about what's going on here. But Nick Nurse just sits back and twiddles his thumbs because he doesn't give a fuck either. Anyway, there's the injury update. Now, listen. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. VJ Edgecombe was in the gym on Thanksgiving Day, and here's what I want to say. There is a culture change happening in Philadelphia. It's just going to take 3 or 4 more years, okay? And Tyrese Maxey is going to be 29 at that time, and that will be the 76ers championship window. When Tyrese Maxey's in his prime, when VJ Edgecombe is 24 or 25 years old, and the 76ers have tanked for 3 more years and have accumulated more draft picks and have built a team while Joel Embiid and Paul George sit on the bench, it's going to be years from now. But here's what I want to say. Drafting players like VJ Edgecombe based off of his mentality and his work ethic, right? And drafting a player like Tyrese Maxey based off of his mentality and his work ethic is going to change the culture of the 76ers moving forward. The process was a disaster. It was embarrassing. The players you drafted in the process was a disaster outside of the greatness of Joel Embiid, size and skill-wise. It was a disaster. And what happened in the process was that Josh Harris and everybody that had just recently bought the 76ers, Scott O'Neal, the guy that owns Fanatics and does the big white billionaire party with like Jay-Z, and they do some cult shit in the basement and they like sacrifice goats or something. What's his name? Michael Rubin. When all those weirdos owned the Sixers, right? They treated these new draft picks like babies. You weren't allowed to say anything about them. The coach wasn't allowed to call them out. Nothing. And the result was losers. Losers, losers, losers. The result was a losing season and another losing season, and they didn't have the mental fortitude to push through the playoffs. They could rack up 50 wins in a regular season, sure. Because you know how the NBA is. Half the time, the players don't even play until they get to the playoffs. They could rack up 50 wins in the playoffs, right? Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, all those guys. Soon as the playoffs came around, they did not have the mental fortitude to push through and get to the next level because they were treated like babies from the time they got here. Now you have two guys pushing a new culture forward. Two guys that had a chip on their shoulder from the time they started. Tyrese Maxey, being an undersized guard, was probably told his whole life, you're great, but you're not big enough to be in the NBA. And then it was you're not big enough to be an NBA star. And then it was you can't be the number one option on a team because you can't have a winning team with a 6'2 guard at the one spot. And now look what he's doing. He's on damn at the top of the MVP list, right? A guy with a chip on his shoulder and gets in the gym and works on his weaknesses every single offseason. VJ Edgecombe is another one. A guy with a chip on his shoulder. Came from the Bahamas, tells a story about him and his mom living on a generator for 7 years. A guy that is here and is grateful that he is here. And when somebody is grateful that they're here and they're in the NBA and they have this opportunity, they're going to take advantage of it and they're going to give it every single thing they have. They're never going to take it for granted. Ben Simmons, he didn't give a shit. 6'11", 250, could run like a gazelle, could run and jump, and just dominated from a young age through high school. Didn't care. Was told he was God's gift to the planet from the time he was born, and that's the result. Guys like this are going to change the culture of the NBA. Change the culture of the 76ers in the NBA. Now, the last thing I want to say on the same topic is you have a little bit of an issue, all right? A Western Conference executive on VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, these two guys give them the ability to move on from Paul George and Joel Embiid, and that's what I'm talking about. You can't move on from them contract-wise. You have to just wait till the contracts are up. You can trade Paul George, probably. You're going to have to attach something to get rid of that loser, all right? And Joel Embiid can't play, signed until 2029. If he retires, he retires. If he doesn't, he plays 3 games a season and collects his money. Here's what I want to say. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, I didn't put it on the screen. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe are the culture change and are the players moving forward. Now, there's another guy that you drafted last year that was on his way to being Rookie of the Year before he tore his meniscus and is also an undersized guard. And when I look at Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, I see a more traditional pairing. A smaller guard in Tyrese Maxey, whose his biggest deficiency is his defense, right? But it's strictly because of his size. Teams can single him out. They can mismatch on him all day. You can't have two guys like that on the floor at the same time. VJ Edgecombe fixes that issue. VJ Edgecombe, at just 20 years old, is a defensive menace. That's the combination that works. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson was the catch-and-shoot defender. You have to have that pairing. So I don't see a world where Jared McCain fits into this equation, is what I'm saying. And seeing Jared McCain in his last couple of games, he's getting his offense back, but teams are bullying him defensively. They are legitimately just picking on him, and he's not putting up any type of fight at all. Guys are just laying the ball right over top of his head like he's not even there. So I'm saying the 76ers need to build around Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And Jared McCain has a lot of value right now based on what he did last season. and you're going to have to trade Jared McCain. And I don't know if you trade Jared McCain to make a Paul George trade work, but that might just be what has to happen. Now, if you try to get off the Joel Embiid contract at the end of this season, if it doesn't work out, if this season goes just like last year, and trading Jared McCain gets you off of the Joel Embiid contract, I don't know what psychopath would pay that kind of money for a guy that can't play anymore. But I think the Paul George, Jared McCain combination is more of a realistic combination to get off of a bad contract, and then you just keep Joel Embiid, and he plays 3 games a season until he wants to quit. But I am willing to trade Jared McCain now. I wasn't willing to trade him last season, and it's because of the combination of Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And now you need to fill out the roster with rebounders, interior defenders, and snipers. That's my take on that, and that's my take on everything. And I'll see you guys tonight, live at 7:30 for Sixers. Who are they playing? Yesterday was a long day. I forget who they're playing. But I'll be live tonight for that game, and we'll do the post-game live after that. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.